Howdy!
Hola!
This is gonna be our May wrap-up.
Yay!
Can't believe it's June!
Oh
my god.
Oh god.
This year's going by so fast.
It is.
Yes.
Okay, so the first book I read in May was The Fault in Our Stars. This was a reread for me. I had already read it in the beginning of the year, but, you know, leading up to the movie coming out, and I figured, you know, I should reread it again.
And it's our book of the...
It was our book
review
of
of
the
the month.
So we all had to reread it. Well, I had to reread it. They had to read it.
Yes.
Well, I love it, obviously. It's an amazing book. I don't really think I need to explain it, plus we have a video on it anyways.
Yeah.
So, this was the first book. I was on a bit of a John Green kick. So then I read Paper Towns. Yay! I also really, really like this, I almost said movie. It will be a movie. But until then, I really did like this book. The Fault in Our Stars, I can't speak, is my favorite one. And I also read Looking for Alaska, but I think this might be my second favorite so far. I still have to read An Abundance of Catherines and Will Grayson, but
You have them though, right?
yeah. I really, really like Paper Towns. Maybe I'll do a separate review on this. And then I read Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I loved it. I'm currently reading Scarlet. So you'll probably see that in next month's wrap-up. This book is so cool. I was not super into like sci-fi things and like, you know, like robots and cyborgs and all that. It's not usually my thing.
Aliens and...
But I really, really like this book. And I don't know. I have a feeling I will like totally love the whole series. Which I hope, because I own it. So I hope I like it. So I read that.
So the next book I finished in the month of May was Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I loved this book a ton. I read it on my Kindle, so I don't have anything to show you. Just pretend that it's here. I'm sure we all know what the cover to that looks like.
The pretty ballerina.
Yeah. I really like it because it's a standalone, so I didn't start yet another series.
Yeah.
And it was just good. It was just a good mystery, you know, like a young adult mystery. I really did really, really enjoy it. And then the last book I finished in May was Alienated by Melissa Landers. Right, Landers?
Yeah.
That book was really good. It's about like a foreign exchange student, like a program from outer space. And I liked it because they had like a lot of prejudice against the aliens and all that, so you had to like deal with that, like, you know, even though they're kind of exactly like humans.
Yeah.
Only very small differences. I really did enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to the sequel.
Yes.
I don't know how many are going to be in the series. But I started another series. I started a few series this month. Well, Cinder and Alienated. So that was my wrap-up. As for my to be read, I've already finished a couple books. Because what's today's date?
Today's the 10th.
10th? No, it's not the 10th. It's not the 10th.
Oh,
the
it's
10th's Tuesday.
6, 7. 7? Yeah, because tomorrow's the 8th.
Okay.
First was last Sunday.
Oh. I've already finished 2 books this month, and I'm currently reading The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmersky. It's a new adult book. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm reading that on my Kindle too. After that, I don't really know. I'm doing a few read-alongs, so we'll see how that goes. Or I just could totally change up and read something else.
Yeah.
I'm not good at like TBRs. I can't stick to them very well.
No.
Unless I'm doing a read along, then I tend to stick to it. If I just like say I'm gonna read this month, I end up not reading it. So that was it for me for the month of May.
Okay, so this is my May read and June TBR. So I started out the month, and it feels like I read this book a long, long time ago, but I read Unhinged by A.G. Howard. Oh my god! I read Splintered back in January, and I loved it. I think I like this one more, even though I'm still not a Morpheus fan.
Oh my god, I'm Team Morpheus all the way.
I have a love-hate
I'm
relationship.
Team no one because I haven't read the books.
I have a love-hate relationship with Morpheus. I love to hate him.
I just love him.
So that was the beginning of the month. And then since The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, this was our May book of the month for review since the movie was coming out. So I read that again. Loved it. Not a dry eye did I have by the time I finished this book.
I don't think you cried as much as we did.
No.
In the movie.
She
No.
didn't cry as much. Yeah. We were like sobbing.
No, I didn't
Like,
cry as
whooping,
much.
like,
Well,
the
reading
whole
the
chair
book,
was moving.
I kept telling myself, I cannot cry. I'm not going to cry.
No, I
I'm
didn't.
not
I
gonna
was
cry.
like full
I'm
out
not going to cry.
sobbing.
I wanted to wait until the end to just let it all out. And then
I cried whenever I felt like crying.
I bawled.
Because I can't, like, stop myself from crying. So, I cried a lot through that book. A lot.
And then as part of one of the read-alongs that I'm doing, I read Cinder. I'll bash myself in the nose. I read Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I love this book. I'm a big fan of Cinderella to begin with.
She was secretly trying to sniff the book, but it failed.
No, I was not trying to sniff the book this time. I love how they're using cyborgs. It's a twist on a fairy tale. Loved it. Love Cinder. I love Prince Kai.
God, yes.
Oh my
was
god.
Cool.
If they
loved him.
ever were to make this into a movie, I don't even know who they would get to play Prince Kai. Because I can't think of anyone hot enough to play him.
Well, that's like, I couldn't picture anyone as Finnick either.
No.
Yeah.
So that was my second book. And then I finally finished Delirium. Finally. I've been reading that book since like February.
By Lauren Oliver.
Yes, by Lauren Oliver. Sorry. Again, it was another book during the 50 reads.
Summer reads.
Thank you. So I finished that finally. And before that, I read Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Obviously, we're doing the same read-along. So...
Yeah, we'll have a lot of books in common.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then...
So, No, that's this month.
Okay.
So, that was last month. Now, this month, I have already read one book. I'm on a second one.
What one book have you already read?
I've read Alienated by Melissa Landers. And right now, I am reading Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. I haven't gotten too far in that book yet. We've had a busy week at work, and that's the only time I can read, and so I'll probably keep going with the Goodreads 50,
Well, it's not a Goodreads. It's...
or you know what I mean.
Summer read-along.
Yeah, I'll probably keep
I'll
going
link
with
it
that.
in the down bar if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some books that I've already read that she has listed, so I'll probably skip those. I don't know what I'm going to read next. What is our book for this month?
The
The
Diviners.
Diviners.
Okay.
We
By
will
Lola
be
Bray.
reading The Diviners.
So, and that's one of the books for this month anyways, so hopefully I can skip a couple of books and then get to that one. So, if not, I'll have to skip and go back. I don't know. So, yep, that is my short but sweet May read and June to be read.
This is my May read and June to be read. So, the first book I read this month was Hangman's Curse by Frank Peretti.
It's the Veritas Project. It is a series, clearly by Volume 1.
It's basically about a family that they solve crime. They're like a crime-fighting family, but it's kind of like on the down low because some of the things they do involve kind of like...
Isn't kosher?
Not that it isn't kosher, it's like supernatural in nature, like kind of like ghost or specter. But it has a very kind of Christian twist to it. Not that that's a bad thing. I just prefer not to read that. And I didn't know, reading this, I don't have anything against it. I just prefer not to have
Religious undertones?
Yeah, when I read my books.
Oh. Extreme religious, like too much religious.
Yeah. I just didn't care for it. I mean, after I picked it up, I realized it was Christian fiction.
Where'd you pick it? Is that one that you got at New to You?
Yeah, I got it at the bookstore. But I have another book by Frank Peretti, so I kind of wanted to read a book by him, but...
Okay.
I mean, it was written really well. I have nothing... I mean, it was a decent book, but... just not my cup of tea.
Then the second book, that I read this month was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Whee! As I drop it. Great book. Kind of didn't want to read it because I knew it was a cancer book and I didn't want to cry.
Same reason why I didn't want to read it.
But
It's my favorite book.
it is a very, very good book. And I'm not going to say too much because we have a whole book discussion, book talk about it.
Is it already up?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
it is. And then the next book that I read was A Drowned Maiden's Hair, a melodrama by Laura Amy Schlitz. I think this is like a middle grade book. It was okay. For a middle grade book, it's kind of big. And basically it's about this girl. She's an orphan. And these older ladies adopt her. But she can't be known. Like no one can know that she's there in this house, so she has to kind of hide, and they do seances because it takes place like 1902, so it's during that time when
Seances were
popular and they're trying to basically hornswoggle this rich lady out of her money. And I will leave it there. It was an interesting story, and it has a happy ending. It was really nice to kind of read a book that has a happy ending. But a lot of it was kind of filler. A little bit too much. I wish there was a little bit more action. But that was that one. And then I read Cinder by Melissa Meyer. I always want to say Mayer. It's Meyer.
I don't think I've read a fairy tale retelling. I think this is my first one, I think.
Yeah, 'cause she hasn't read
I haven't read Splinter.
I've read so many fairy tale retellings.
And I loved it. Oh, I know a lot of people, some people like Scarlet better than this one. So, if a lot of people like Scarlet better, I love this book.
That's why when I was reading it, I'm like, how come everyone keeps saying Scarlet's better? That must be amazing, because I really liked Cinder.
I'm like, I love this
I think
one.
I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads.
I gave it a 5-star. I loved it. I thought it was really cool.
Plus, all the covers are pretty and they all match.
Yes.
And they're all the same size.
Yes.
And then the last book I read this month was Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Another really good book. And I like the way how it opened on her not knowing kind of who she was, where she was, how she got there, why she's kind of covered in blood.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. I didn't want it to be true. I wanted it to be the jerk of the book, but
he was a red herring.
He was a red herring, but I figured it out. So.
I kind of figured it wasn't him. just because they're like throwing it in your
Yeah.
face. Like, look at him, he's such a jerk. He did it. And I'm like, no, he didn't. That's too easy.
It was too easy. Spoilers.
If you
It was a wonderful book, and
Yes.
I love it. And I read that one on my tablet, so I will definitely purchase that
Yes.
needs to go in the
sometime
collection.
soon. It will go in my collection. I have 2 books of hers now, so that will add to it.
I only have the one since they did not have White Huckus.
So I think for this month, I think I will get down and dirty with some of my books on my shelf. That just sounded really bad. I'm sorry.
I know, I need to do that too, and I'm just like, look at all the books I have on my Kindle, though.
I think I will read White Hot Kiss because I've been wanting to read a gargoyle book. And then I think I'm going to start knocking out some of my steampunk books.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
So far, I've only read books on my Kindle this
I'm
month.
reading this. I'm going with the same read alongs they are, so I figured if there's a book that I'm really kind of not into, I'll
Yeah.
just go into my bookshelf that has plenty that I can take from.
Like 96 books?
Oh yeah, I have a lot. But a lot of them are kind of like 2 and 3, like in the middle, and I don't have the
Yeah.
first one. So, yeah.
Kind of buy them when they're on sale, and we're like, oh. And then we don't have the beginnings of them, so we
No.
can't start the series yet. Like, oh well,
Yeah.
we got a good deal, but we can't read these yet. They're just gonna have to sit there.
So, that's my I almost said my haul. No.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's my May read and my June to be read. So,
Until next time.
Yep.
Bye!
bye.